Rumpole and the Bubble Reputation by John Mortimer. Adapted by Richard Stoneman. Starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Horace Rumpole.
Unlike my wife Hilda, you may be fortunate enough never to have read an historical novel by the overrated authoress Miss Amelia Nettleship. Her books contain virginal heroines and courageous heroes, and thus present an extremely misleading account of our rough island story. In 1965, Miss Nettleship was frequently photographed wearing cotton print dresses with large spectacles on her pretty little nose, feeding her cats in a wisteria-clad Tudor cottage on the outskirts of Godalming.
I don't believe it.
Oh, for God's sake.
In the interviews she gave, Miss Nettleship referred to the evils of the permissive society and the dreadful consequences of sex before marriage.
No. Oh, no.
Alas, for a while she shared my bed, not in person, but in book form, propped up on the bosom of she who must be obeyed.
Do you have a cold coming on, Hilda?
No, Rumpole. Touching.
Oh. Sorry.
Not you. This book is touching. Very touching. I thought Lord Stingo was a bit of a rake, but he's turned out quite differently.
Oh, what a sad disappointment.
Nonsense. It's ending very happily. He swore he'd never marry, but Lady Sophia has made him swallow his words.
If they were written by Amelia Nettleship, I'm sure he found them indigestible. Any chance of turning out the light? I need some sleep. Sleep hath its own world, and a wide realm of wild reality. And dreams in their development have breath and tears.
And so, after a mere 5 or 6 hours of shut-eye, I struggled through the following day until my blood alcohol concentration slipped to a dangerously low level.
Teach us, sprite or bird, what sweet thoughts are thine. I have never heard praise of love or wine that panted forth a flood of rapture so divine.
As I left chambers that evening, I faced the age-old dilemma.
Chorus hymeneal or triumphant chant matched with thine would be all but an empty vaunt, a thing wherein we feel there is some hidden want.
Should I hurry home to she who must be obeyed, and to our young son Nicholas?
What objects are the fountains of thy happy strain? What fields or waves or mountains? What shapes of sky or plain? What love of thine own kind? What ignorance of pain?
Or take a moment to review the strengths and weaknesses of the case against my client and thereby strive to become a more effective advocate. I hurried to Pomeroy's wine bar, where I spied my learned colleague Claude Erskine-Brown, alone and palely loitering.
Erskine-Brown, what can ail you?
Oh, Rumpole. It's my practice.
Still practising? I thought you might have got the hang of it by now.
Oh, yes. Amusing. I used to do a decent class of work, but it's come to this. Yeah. Actual bodily harm and affray at the Kitten Our Go-Go, Soho.
Ah, yes. I know it well.
Yes, 2 unsavoury characters in leather jackets, duelling with broken bottles of Coca-Cola.
Sounds like my line of country.
Exactly. I'm scraping the bottom of your barrel.
Thank you.
I'll have to ask for some tips. For instance, what on earth am I supposed to do?
To begin with, visit the locus in quo. Go to the scene of the crime. Inspect the geography of the place.
The geography of the Kitten Our Go-Go? Do I really have to?
Of course. Then during the trial you can suggest it was too dark to identify anyone, or the witness couldn't see around a pillar, or...
It's you, isn't it? I wasn't sure, but now I'm looking at you close up, I'm pretty sure I'm right. It is Horace Rumpole.
I think so, yes. Mr...
Machin. Maurice Machin. Editor of the Daily Beacon. We met a long time ago when you were defending a wife-beater in Bromley. You got him off.
So he wasn't a wife-beater.
Oh, we both knew he was guilty as charged. But you were very clever, Mr. Rumpole. And I have to confess, I was mightily impressed.
Thank you, Mr. Machin.
You can call me Murray.
Gosh, can I really?
And you can help me out, professionally speaking, with a little spot of bother I'm in. My reputation's been impugned, and I seem to be charged with libel.
Oh, Rumpole never does libel.
Rumpole never turns down any kind of case, especially if a reputation's at stake.
So, you think a reputation's important?
Good name in a man or woman, dear my lord, is the immediate jewel of their souls. Who steals my purse steals trash. 'Tis something, nothing. 'Twas mine, 'tis his, and has been slave to thousands. But he that filches from me my good name robs me of that which not enriches him, and makes me poor indeed.
Is that one of your speeches, Mr. Rumpole?
Shakespeare, actually.
Of course.
Your good name, Mr. Machin, is something I shall be prepared to defend to the death. And, of course, the good name of your newspaper.
Our paper does go in for a certain amount of fearless exposure.
Yes, the exposure on page 3 every day. The Beacon Beauties. They're very popular in the clerk's room.
I'm not talking about that kind of exposure. I'm talking about telling the truth about people in the public eye. We're not a cheap, sordid little scandal sheet, Mr. Rumpole.
Perish the thought.
So, would you be happy to act on my behalf?
A barrister is an old taxi plying for hire. That's the fine tradition of our trade. It's my sacred duty, Mr. Machin, to take on anyone who's in trouble, however repellent I may happen to find them.
Thank you, thank you.
Think nothing of it. Now, what exactly is the little spot of bother you say you're in? Give me details.
Well, as a newspaper, we're dedicated to exposing hypocrisy in our society, wherever it exists, high or low. So, when we find this female pretending to be a force for purity and parading her morality before the great British public, denouncing premarital sex, even if it's just the normal stuff, well, we feel it's our duty to tell our readers that this self-same female does not practice what she preaches. And so, I commissioned this little piece that ran a couple of months ago.
May I see?
It's not your case, Erskine Brown.
Oh, we both know it should be, Rumpole. The private life of Amelia Nettleship.
Really? Not the Amelia Nettleship? The expert bottler of pure historical bilge water?
The novelist and hypocrite.
She robs me of my sleep. I know nothing of her morality, but her prose style depraves and corrupts the English language. Who wrote the article?
Miss Stella January.
Oh, she left the paper last week.
And went where?
Not sure. Manchester, I think, to work on The Guardian.
We have to find her.
Really?
If we're going to fight this, which we are, I shall need to speak to Miss January. And then I shall conquer. I never plead guilty.
There speaks a man who knows damn all about libel. You haven't even read the offending article yet.
Oh, just give me a précis.
Amelia Nettleship, two-faced charlatan. Girls in her novels always keep their legs crossed until they've got a ring on their finger. Her own private life rather different. Torrid past. Makes Mae West sound like Florence Nightingale. Home near Godalming, scene of numerous sordid liaison. Married men leaving in the wee small hours. Oh, it goes on and on.
Much like Amelia Nettleship.
I have a meeting later with the barrister who's representing the proprietor of the Beacon. The Sheridan Club, 8 o'clock. Can you join us, Mr. Rumpole?
Of course. Who's the barrister?
Robin Peppiat, QC.
Porky Peppiat? We were at Winchester together.
I believe he's rather good. And rather expensive.
Quite a contrast to Rumpole, on both counts.
Why don't I take that newspaper cutting, Erskine Brown? And why don't we pop down the kit in a go-go so you can prepare for your nasty little affray?
Must we?
Oh, I think we must. Say what you like about Erskine Brown, and I frequently do. He does take advice. And so we found ourselves in a dark cul-de-sac just off Wardour Street, where every doorway had a young woman with a beckoning finger and an obscenely short skirt to entice the passing trade into the basement caverns beneath their high-heeled shoes.
Here we are.
Oh, no, Rumpole, I really don't think I can. What would Phillida say if she could see me now?
Oh, I'm sure she'd applaud your professional commitment.
She wouldn't think I was some kind of dirty old man.
I doubt she'd think of you as old, Erskine Brown. Dirty, yes. Now, careful going down the stairs.
It was, in fact, difficult to imagine what Miss Phillida Trant would have thought of the two of us as we took our places at a small table in front of the tiny stage. I hadn't seen the Portia of our chambers for nearly 3 months. She was weeks away from giving birth and only days away from getting married. Her fiancé looked flustered.
My God, Rumpole, that woman's virtually naked. And she's coming this way. No, don't look.
Evening, gents. Can I get you some drinks and some company?
No, thank you. We're here for purely observational duties.
You are?
We intend to look and learn, nothing more.
Well, no one's allowed to do any touching, if that was you was hoping for. I'll fetch some champagne,
No,
shall
that
I?
won't be... Oh, damn.
She'll bring a bottle of fizzy cider and charge us 3 guineas. I'll try and stop her.
Don't leave me, Rumpole. Good Lord. What on earth is she wearing? Or rather not wearing.
This way, Gav. Smile.
What? Ah! Oh!
I think I've cleared up the matter, though you will have to drink this glass of whiskey, I'm afraid.
What about you?
Oh, I have my con in the Sheridan Club. I'm sure you'll be fine on your own.
Someone just took my picture, Rumpole.
Really? Well, perhaps they'll try to sell you a copy of the photograph before you leave. If I were you, I'd decline the offer. Oh, look. I think the artiste is coming to join you.
Oh, no! No, please. Stay back. Please.
As Erskine Brown enjoyed the attentions of Miss Fifi Bojangles and the semi-conscious snake she wore around her neck, I joined the editor of the Daily Beacon and Robin Peppiat QC in the Sheridan Club, where champagne really was champagne and the waiters kept their tops on.
Well, we should work as a team, old chap. And as leading counsel, I suppose I'm the captain.
Are we playing cricket, old chap?
If it were, it would be an extremely expensive game for the Beacon. The proprietors have contracted to indemnify the editor against any libel damages, no matter how high.
Yeah, I insisted on that when I took the job.
That was very sensible of your client, Rumpole.
Was it really?
Oh, yes. And don't worry, I realise you're not used to this type of case. You are, after all, one of the criminal boys.
Just a juvenile delinquent compared to you, old chap.
Quite. And it's obvious to me we mustn't attempt to justify these serious charges against Miss Nettleship's honour.
Why not? Wouldn't that be cricket?
If we try to prove she's some kind of amateur tut, the jury might bump the damages up to £6,000 or £7,000.
But you filed a defence alleging the article's a true bill.
That's just our bargaining counter. Something to give away as part of the deal. When we agree terms with the other side, we'll abandon all our allegations gracefully.
We put up our hands?
Well, yes. You mustn't worry about the details. Peregrine Landseer's a Guinness, and I'm lunching with Perry tomorrow. I'll just whisper the thought of a quiet little settlement into his ear, and that'll be that.
Whisper sweet nothings. I'll not be party to any settlement.
Quite right.
No, I will defend the good name of my client, Mr. Morris Machin, as a responsible editor.
At our expense?
If necessary, yes. He wouldn't have published that story unless there was some truth in it, would you, Mr. Machin?
Yeah. Certainly not.
That's all well and good, old chap. But there's absolutely no evidence that Miss Nettleship has behaved as described in the article.
No evidence? Then we must find some, old chap. I'm quite unable to believe that anyone who writes so badly has no other vices. A few days later, I entered the clerk's room of our chambers in Equity Court to see our chief clerk, Henry, sitting at his desk, perusing a copy of the Daily Beacon.
Good morning, Henry.
Oh, good morning, sir. Didn't hear you come in.
Oh, please don't stop reading. I'm sure that fine crusading paper has exposed yet more hypocrisy.
You might be right, sir. And talking of the Beacon, I've got your brief for the Nettleship case. You'll be pleased to hear we've agreed a nice fee plus refreshers of 10 guineas. So you can make it last a while, can't you?
At 10 guineas per day, I'll stretch it out till the trump of doom.
Morning, Henry. Yet. Oh, morning, Rumpole.
How goes your sordid affray?
Still sordid. Much like this rag, which I feel should be banned from chambers.
No, I wouldn't look in there.
There's the Beacon beauty today. Someone with an IQ slightly smaller than a... Oh. My God.
What's wrong, Erskine-Brown? Someone you know?
I did try to stop you, sir.
It's me.
You're the Beacon beauty?
No. Some kind of story under a photograph of me. Spotted in the Kitten a Go-Go. Junior barrister. Claude Erskine-Brown, gawping at the steamy strippers. I wasn't gawping, I was researching. You told me to go there. The locus in quo. This is all your fault, Rumpole.
Clerk's room?
At least it's spelled your name correctly.
Yeah, you see it now, sir.
And you're not actually looking directly
Go
at Fifi Bojangles
Straight away, sir.
or her snake.
Head of Chambers would like to see you, sir.
Me? Ballard wants to see me?
Quite urgently, sir.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, God. Oh, God.
But he didn't sack you, so what's the problem?
What's the problem? For one thing, Ballard wants me to sue the Daily Beacon to protect the reputation of No. 3 Equity Court, which will cost me a small fortune. Worse than that, far worse than that, what will Phillida say when she sees the photograph?
Why would she see it? You don't have the Beacon delivered to your place in Islington, do you?
No, the milkman will show it to her. I think he hates me for some reason, and I'm sure he reads that despicable scandal sheet. Oh, yes. Philly will see me, gawping.
Well, she's not going to call off the wedding, not for something as trivial as this nonsense.
She might.
Well, in which case you won't need me as best man.
Well, don't you want to be best man? Don't you want to support me, stand shoulder to shoulder, side by side?
Normally I'd love to, Erskine-Brown, but I do have my own reputation to protect.
What?
I'm joking, of course. I'm sure the wedding would go ahead as planned.
I hope you're right.
Good evening, Mr. Rumpole.
Fig! How lovely to see you. Erskine-Brown, have you ever made the acquaintance of Mr. Ferdinand Isaac Gerald Newton?
No.
The best private eye in town.
Not a lot of competition, Mr. Rumpole.
Even so. Come to the bar, let me buy you a drink, and I'll tell you what I need you to find for me.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Mr. Erskine-Brown, I got your message.
You've got some nerve coming here, Machin.
But you asked me to come here.
Oh, yes. Yes, I did. Because I'm furious. How could you print those lies about me?
What lies? You were in the Kitten a Go-Go. You were watching a stripper perform on stage.
Only because I got involved in a violent affray with actual bodily harm.
You had a fight in a club?
No. I wasn't fighting. I'm defending an affray that occurred in the Kitten a Go-Go. I was merely looking at the scene of the crime. But your wretched paper didn't mention any of that.
How do I know it's true?
Just ask Rumpole. He'll confirm my story.
Yeah. But you lot all stick together, don't ya?
I insist you print an apology. You have to explain to your readers that I'm not the kind of man they think I am.
If we print an apology, it makes it look like we got it wrong.
You did get it wrong.
Only according to you. But I think our story stands up. So, good night, Mr. Erskine-Brown.
Come back here, Machin. I demand you tell the world. I demand you tell them. Watching naked women does not make me a pervert. Oh, God.
By the time I returned to Erskine-Brown's table, the odious Mr. Machin had left the building. Fig Newton set off to Godalming to stake out Amelia Nettleship's cottage, and I pushed off home for a fitful night with the book-loving Hilda. Returning to chambers in the morning, a surprise awaited me in the gentleman's lavatory.
Erskine-Brown, you're shaving.
Rumpole, you're early.
Did you sleep in chambers last night?
Well, I wasn't allowed to stay at home. As predicted, Phillida was shown that wretched newspaper.
By the milkman?
And the postman. And the greengrocer. She banished me from my own house.
Cancelled the wedding?
Not yet. If I sue the Beacon for libel, there's a chance she'll forgive me. But then we won't have any money with which to bring up our newborn child. And it's all thanks to you, Rumpole.
I really don't think you should continue to blame me.
I beg to differ. The I won't be able to spend another night here in chambers. The cleaners will report me to Ballard.
Yes, it's a risky old business, as I learned for myself.
As I seem to remember when you fell out with Hilda. You planted yourself with me. My kitchen still bears the scorch marks from your fry-ups.
Ah, no, I was indeed grateful for your hospitality.
What's the journey like from Gloucester Road to here,
My
Rumpole?
front door is always open, Claude, and I'd be delighted to put you
Oh,
through.
thank you.
But I could never ask you to shoulder the burden of daily life with she who must be obeyed. It simply wouldn't be fair on you. I thought I'd done enough to dissuade my learned friend from seeking hospitality under the Rumpole roof, and so, with a glad heart, I went about my daily business. When my work was done, I decided to share some of the good fortune brought with my libel brief. I splashed out on 2 bottles of Pomeroy's bubbly and some of the least exhausted flowers to be found outside Temple Tube Station.
Is that you, Rumpole?
No, Hilda, it's Judge Bullingham. I was hoping for a game of tiddlywinks with your husband.
What on earth have you got there?
All the fruits of the earth, or let's say the fruits of the first cheque in Nettleship v. the Beacon, paid in advance. The first of many if we can spin out the proceedings.
You're doing that awful case.
That awful case will bring us 10 guineas a day in refreshers.
Helping that squalid newspaper insult Amelia Nettleship.
A barrister's duty, Hilda, is to take on all comers, however squalid.
Nonsense.
What?
Nonsense. You're only using that as an excuse. In actual fact, you're jealous of Amelia Nettleship.
My life has been full of longings, but I've never had the slightest desire to become a female novelist, if that's what you can call the illiterate lady.
My mind is made up, Rumpole. I won't take a drop of that champagne, and those flowers can go straight in the dustbin, which is where it appears you found them.
Now, Hilda, you listen to me. Oh, God. That's not... Please tell me that's not...
Claude telephoned and told me all his troubles with Philomena Trump.
Philida Trant.
And, of course, I invited him to stay.
Good evening, Rumpole.
You're wearing my dressing gown.
Yeah, I had to pack in a hurry. Ooh, champagne. To welcome me into your lovely home.
No.
Was the bath all right, Claude?
Absolutely lovely. Though I fear I've used up all the hot water.
The geezer can be quite temperamental, but Rumpole can do without his bath tonight. Let's go through.
Yeah. Now, which is your chair in here, Rumpole?
I sit next to the gas fire.
Not this evening. We mustn't let you get cold after your bath, Claude. So you go over there, and Rumpole will open the champagne, won't you, Rumpole?
As you command, Hilda. It was the Wagner belting out of the wireless over breakfast that drove me from my own kitchen the next morning. I sought sanctuary in the Royal Courts of Justice, where, when wigged and robed, I met Maurice Machin and Robin Pepiat QC.
Miss Nettleship is digging her heels in, refusing all offers of a settlement.
Good.
It is not good, Mr. Machin. I was hoping to wrap this up before luncheon at the Sheridan. It's steak and kidney pud on Thursdays.
My client's reputation is a little more important than steak and kidney pud. You're asking him to sign a statement admitting he printed lies.
If he joins in the apology, the Beacon will pay the costs and damages.
Who steals my purse steals trash, but he that filches from me my good name...
Oh, for heaven's sake, they gave up quoting that in libel actions 50 years ago.
Mr. Rumpole's right, though. My good name is the immediate jewel of my soul.
Steady on, old darling. Let's not go too far.
Unless we settle now, this case could last a couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks? How very... expensive. I tried to keep the smile from my lips as I entered the court. At 10 guineas a day, I was overjoyed at Miss Nettleship's refusal to settle for anything less than a drawn-out fight in front of a jury. And Mr. Justice Teasdale,
Rattling good yarns.
Who it seemed was a fan of the plaintiff.
Take it from me, members of the jury, her novels are what you might call page-turners.
My lord...
Yes, Mr. Rumpole?
Rumpole, my lord.
I'm so sorry. I fear you're something of a stranger to these courts.
Would it not be better to allow the jury to come to their own conclusions about Miss Amelia Nettleship and the quality of her writing?
Well, yes, of course. And when they do come to their own conclusions, they'll find she can put together a rattling good yarn.
All I could do was subside and look balefully at the judge. I felt a pang of nostalgia for the Old Bailey. The morning wore on, and it wasn't until mid-afternoon that I got my first chance to confront the authoress.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
If ever I saw a composed and confident witness, that witness was Amelia Nettleship. Her hair was perfectly done. Her black suit was perfectly discreet. Her white blouse shone, as did her spectacles. So spotless did she seem that she might well have preserved her virginity until that very day. When she finished her evidence in chief, the thankless task of attacking her fair name was left to me.
Are you a truthful woman?
I try to be.
And you call yourself an historical novelist?
I attempt to write books which uphold certain standards of morality.
Forget the morality for a moment. Let's concentrate on the history. May I read you a short passage from an alleged historical novel of yours entitled Lord Stingo's Fancy?
Ah, yes. Isn't that the one that ends happily?
Happily all her books end, my lord, eventually. To quote from this particular yarn, Sophia had first set eyes on Lord Stingo when she was a dewy 18-year-old, and he had clattered up to her father's castle, exhausted from the Battle of Naseby.
Since I'd yet to hear a word from Fig Newton, I was forced to spend as much time as possible analysing Amelia's creative efforts.
Now at the ball to triumphantly celebrate the gorgeous enthroning coronation of the merry monarch King Charles II, they were to meet again. Sophia was now in her 20s, but in ways too numerous to completely describe, still an unspoilt girl at heart. You call that an historical novel?
Certainly.
Haven't you forgotten something?
I don't think so. What?
Oliver Cromwell.
I really don't know what you mean.
Clearly, if this Sophia, this girl...
Dewy girl, Mr. Rumpole.
If this dew-bespattered Sophia had been 18 at the time of the Battle of Naseby and the reign of Charles I, she would have been 33 in the year of Charles II's coronation, and Oliver Cromwell came in between them.
I am an artist, Mr. Rumpole.
It's Rumpole. And what kind of an artist are you exactly?
I think Miss Nettleship means she's an artist in work.
Oh, really? Then she must have noticed that the short passage I read to the jury contained two split infinitives and a tautology.
What?
It means using two words that mean the same thing, my lord, as in the enthroning coronation. It's spelt T-A-U...
I'm aware of its meaning, and I know how to spell.
Well, then your lordship has the advantage of the plaintiff, who spells Naseby with a Z.
Perhaps this sort of cross-examination is common in the criminal courts, but I cannot see how it can possibly be relevant in an action for libel.
These questions, my lord, go to the heart of this lady's credibility.
I was running out of steam.
I have to suggest, Miss Nettleship, that as an historical novelist, you are a complete fake.
Still no sign of Fig Newton.
You have no respect for history and very little respect for the English language.
So I was forced to take avoiding action.
My lord, I have questions, many questions, about the article that appeared in the Daily Beacon and its veracity. However, I see Miss Nettleship is looking tired.
I'm absolutely fine.
And I think it unfair on her and on the jury to begin a new line of inquiry when everyone's feeling exhausted.
It's only 3:30, Mr. Rumpole.
Which your lordship might feel is a little late in the day to start asking questions concerning Miss Nettleship's attitude towards sex before marriage, previous boyfriends, and the allegations by Stella January of liaisons with married men. If your lordship feels Miss Nettleship should get a good night's sleep before the arduous task of answering a barrage of personal and intrusive inquiries, I would have no objection.
Very well. We'll continue tomorrow morning, 10:30?
All rise!
I breathed a sigh of relief, then hurried to Pomeroy's, not merely to avoid an early return to the mansion flat in which Erskine Brown would be playing his way through Die Meistersinger, but also to meet Fig Newton and find out what dirt, if any, he could dish on Amelia Nettleship.
I stayed outside her cottage all night, Mr. Rumpole. I seen a bloke going in just after midnight, and then he come out again this morning, round about 5:30.
Why didn't you tell me? I was on my feet with nothing to say.
I was trying to find Stella January. I thought that was more important.
And?
She doesn't exist.
What do you mean?
I've never come across anyone I can't locate. But unless Miss January's a lot smarter than me, which is unlikely, I'll bet my bungalow on there being no such person.
You're quite sure?
I talked to a few people at the Beacon, off the record sort of thing. And no one ever saw her there. She's never written nothing for any other paper.
And the bloke who stayed the night with Amelia, do you have a name for him?
Afraid not.
Oh.
And before you ask, I never saw his face because it was dark.
Did he have a car?
Yep.
You got the number?
No.
Oh, Fig.
But I did get this, Mr. Rumpole.
A copy of the Beacon? How does this help me?
It was dropped by the bloke when he was getting out of his car last night. See the front page?
Oh, yes. Yes. I think that's interesting, Fig. Very interesting. The next day's edition of the Daily Beacon was coming hot off the press when I arrived at their building in Fleet Street. I glanced at the headline, something about a popular music performer and his latest dalliance with illegal narcotics. Up on the third floor, a couple of crumpled old hacks were drinking whiskey at their desks, proud of their efforts to expose hypocrisy and corruption, exhausted by their attempts to find salacious gossip worth printing.
No, we couldn't grab a photo in the ambulance. If she did, we'll try to get a snap of the body in the mortuary, but I can't promise... I have to go now, sir. Something's come up.
I'm sorry, Morrie. I didn't mean to interrupt.
It was the proprietor. He rings every night.
Checking up on your stories? Trying to guess if your circulation will continue to plummet? Perhaps a final warning before he fires you.
What do you want?
I've just been with a friend who's spoken to some of your colleagues. In strict confidence, they told him your job's on the line.
That's not true.
So sue me. My friend also told me something interesting about Miss Stella January.
Oh?
You are Stella January.
Your friend sounds like he's off his head.
Actually, he merely said she doesn't exist. I'm the one who thinks she's you.
And why would you think that?
Because you wrote the article about Amelia Nettleship, knowing it would get the paper into trouble, knowing that Amelia would take you to court.
I'd have to be a masochist to want something like that to happen.
Well, it won't be you paying costs and damages. It'll be the proprietor. And he's about to lose a fortune.
We've still got a chance of winning the case.
Oh, no, we haven't. We'll fight for days and days, but in the end, the jury will award a huge amount of money to your girlfriend.
To my what?
You were seen entering and leaving Amelia's cottage last night. You arrived at midnight, left this morning before dawn.
Says who?
Says the man who picked up your litter from the drive. The Daily Beacon. Yesterday's copy.
Anyone in Godalming could have bought this.
No. On the front page just there, it says first edition. That usually hits your desk at, what time, 10 p.m., 10:30? I imagine you gave it the once-over, then hurried off for your midnight tryst in Surrey.
You're clutching at straws. You got no real proof it was me that wrote the piece.
I agree, there's an element of guesswork.
Huh?
I'm guessing, for instance, that no young female journalist, such as Stella January, would make a comparison between Mae West and Florence Nightingale. But you would, and you did. And with a little more digging, I'm quite sure my friend will find concrete evidence to back up these theories of mine.
I did go and see Amelia last night, but only to ask her to drop the case.
Well, to use a legal expression, pull the other one, it's got bells on it. I told you I'm a taxi waiting on the rank, but I'm not prepared to be the getaway driver for a crime like this.
Have you told anyone about your theories?
Not yet.
And you won't, will ya? Because you're my lawyer.
Not any longer, Mr. Machin. I'm now an ordinary citizen about to report an attempted crime. I don't think there's any limit on the sentence for conspiracy to pervert the course of justice.
What do you mean? Conspiracy?
You're about to be sacked by the Beacon. Maybe they're paying you off, but not with enough dosh for your liking. So your girlfriend and you get together to make £6,000 or £7,000.
I wish I knew how.
Perfectly simple. You turn yourself into Stella January, the unknown girl reporter, and libel Amelia, your girlfriend. She sues the paper and collects the money. Then you both sail into the sunset and share the proceeds. But there's one thing I can't forgive. You're probably wondering what that is. Oh, all right, I'll tell you. Your plan called for an Old Bailey hack, a stranger to the civilized world of libel who wouldn't settle. Someone who'd attack La Nettleship and inflame the damages. So you used me, Mr. Machin. You used me. Since it's a libel action, I'll offer you terms of settlement.
What sort of terms?
The fair Amelia to drop her case, you pay the costs, and in the matter of my learned friend Claude Erskine Brown...
Huh? What's he got to do with this?
Print a full and grovelling apology on the front page of the Beacon, and get them to pay a substantial sum by way of damages. Why did you print that photograph in the first place?
It was supposed to be a picture of you. I heard you say you were going to that club, and I wanted a bargaining tool, just in case everything fell apart.
But when you didn't get a picture of me?
Our readers enjoy seeing people like Erskine Brown in places they shouldn't be. The pompous git deserved it.
And now you deserve everything you're going to get, which from the Daily Beacon is nothing at all. Good night, Stella. I'll see myself out.
The front page apology was enough to convince the Portia of our chambers to forgive her fiancé and turn up for their wedding just a few days later. She who must be obeyed refused to attend, citing her opposition to premarital sex as the reason. As best man, I was duty-bound to show my face.
You have the ring, Rumpole?
Unless it's jumped out of my pocket in the 2 minutes since you last asked me, yes.
And you've organised some taxis to take us to the reception?
I thought we'd all go by bus.
What?
The number 11 goes door to door, and they run pretty frequently.
Rumpole, I don't want to go... Oh, you're having a joke at my expense.
It's so hard not to, Erskine Brown. Look, here comes the bride. Bad luck to see her before the ceremony.
Oh, we spent last night together. We had breakfast.
Just do as you're told and go inside.
Oh, very well. But don't delay. The next wedding's in 20 minutes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rumpole.
Good afternoon, Miss Trant. You look...
Enormous.
I was going to say... Actually, enormous will do.
It's kind of you to help Claude. And I know you arranged for that apology in the paper, though I'm not quite sure how you managed it.
Best you don't know the details.
Mrs. Rumpole isn't here.
I'm afraid she doesn't approve.
Of me?
Of just about everything.
Well, it was good of her to put up with Claude whilst we had our little misunderstanding.
Good of me, too.
How did your libel end?
With a sudden outburst of peace and goodwill, much to the fury of Mr. Justice Teasdale.
You settled out of court?
Amelia Nettleship dropped all the allegations, and the Beacon paid the costs with extremely bad grace. I've asked Henry to find me a nice bit of burglary or a GBH. Anything which shows human nature in a better light than civil law.
I don't think you'll ever change, Mr. Rumpole.
I fear you're about to, Mrs. Erskine Brown to be. And so, after a short ceremony in front of half a dozen friends, but strangely no members of either the Erskine Brown or the Trant families, we travelled by taxi to the Goring Hotel in Victoria. And the moment I'd been dreading was soon upon us. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. It's customary, as you know, for the best man to make a speech, and being accustomed to rising to my feet and droning on for hours on subjects about which I know very little, I found myself lost for words. Well, I should say something about Erskine Brown and his beautiful bride,
I racked my brains for some words of wisdom. Byron, Wordsworth. Could Shakespeare help me?
Was it not a Roman acquaintance of Coriolanus who said, "The fittest time to corrupt a man's wife is when she's fallen out with her husband"?
Why did I think of that particular quotation? I quickly moved on to a sonnet.
Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove.
Mr. Rumpole.
I realized the Portia of our chambers was looking up at me.
In Belmont is a lady richly left, and she is fair, and fairer than that word, of wondrous virtues.
I tried not to gaze back at Portia.
Oh, no. It is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks.
I couldn't continue. So I turned in desperation to Lord Byron.
Lord Byron said, "Friendship may and often does grow into love, but love never subsides into friendship."
With a final glance at the beautiful ex-Miss Trant and a final effort to put romantic thoughts from my mind once and for all, I brought my sorry speech to an abrupt conclusion.
More to the point, Byron also said, "Man being reasonable must get drunk. The best of life is but intoxication." So, please raise your glasses and toast the bride and groom. Claude and Portia. Phillida. Claude and Phillida Erskine Brown.
Claude and Phillida.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
We look before and after, and pine for what is not. Our sincerest laughter with some pain is fraught. Our sweetest songs are those that tell of saddest thought. Yet if we could scorn hate and pride and fear, if we were things born not to shed a tear, I know not how thy joy we ever should come near. Better than all measures of delightful sound, better than all treasures that in books are found, thy skill to poet were, thou scorner of the ground.
In Rumpole and the Bubble Reputation by John Mortimer, Horace Rumpole was Benedict Cumberbatch, Hilda Rumpole, Jasmine Hyde, Phillida Erskine Brown, Kathy Sarah, Claude Erskine Brown, Nigel Anthony, Maurice Machin, Ewan Bailey, and Porky Pepiat, Stephen Critchlow. Other parts were played by members of the company. Rumpole and the Bubble Reputation was adapted by Richard Stoneman, directed by Marilyn Imrie, and is a Catherine Bailey production for BBC Radio 4. Rumpole and the Age of Miracles by John Mortimer, adapted by Richard Stoneman, starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Horace Rumpole.
If this story sounds like a long, drawn-out confession, forgive me. There are not too many occasions when I've used subterfuge to win a case. But when I found my services retained for the defence of the Reverend Timothy Donkin, I fear I had to behave in a manner of which I am now almost ashamed. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. The matters which arose were of an ecclesiastical nature, a strange territory to one whose concerns had almost always been secular before that point. It's true that my old father was a cleric, so I was, to that extent, a son of the manse. But the Reverend Timothy Donkin was quite different to the clergy I'd met before. He introduced me to a world of magic and mystery, where miracles were found to be very much alive and kicking.
Is that you, Rumpole?
No, I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast in fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and...
Please stop now, Rumpole. We have a visitor.
Oh, Christ.
Shh! Don't say that.
Say what, for God's sake?
Shush. A member of the clergy is present.
Ah.
Timothy. Oh, you know, Cousin Esme's boy. The one with the sister no one ever talks about. Wendy? I told you all about Wendy and her brother Timmy. He's here and he wants to see you.
She threw open the sitting-room door with a flourish. Struggling out of an armchair to greet me was a tubby fellow with an eager expression on his face and a slightly soiled dog collar around his neck.
Horace, I'm so delighted to meet you. Oh, it's such a relief.
Timmy's been made a canon of Launchester Cathedral. He's quite a big shot now.
Hilda, was that a funny?
Was what a funny?
Oh, maybe not. Sit down, please, and tell me about the trouble you're in.
How do you know I'm in trouble?
Well, you have that look about you, the look of a client. Now, what can it be? Fiddling the organ fund, pawning the candlesticks? Choir boys?
Rumpole! Don't be disgusting.
It's nothing like that, I promise you. I suppose it's being described as old-fashioned adultery. You see, I'm a married man, Horace.
Makes it much easier to commit adultery if you are.
Rumpole, don't be facetious. Adultery is no laughing matter.
No, it's fine.
Adultery is never fine. Rumpole and I may disagree on that point.
What?
You seem perfectly happy to defend clients who jump in and out of bed with women they barely know.
I will work for anyone who pays me.
You sound like a prostitute, for heaven's sake.
Oh, I'm sure that... Oh, goodness.
More tea, Timmy.
Oh, yes, please. And, is that last Garibaldi looking for a home? Ah, thank you.
If you're really hungry, there's some bread in the kitchen and a fish in the fridge.
If you're going to make a joke about feeding the 5,000, we don't want to hear it. Now just be quiet and listen to Timmy.
Does your wife tell you how to behave constantly, even on the Sabbath?
Actually, no. My wife Gertrude is an absolute saint. But she's not the tidiest person in the world, and she fails to keep the children quiet. We have 2 boys, you see, and they're singing, they're shouting, they're running and jumping and shooting and screaming. Well, it makes it very difficult to get sufficient peace to compose my sermons. I need to retreat to seek inner peace.
Let me guess, you make a beeline for the local monastery.
The local hotel, actually. The St. Edithna. It's very quiet there, and I like to ring for a pot of tea in the middle of the afternoon. Perhaps push the boat out, order a toasted tea cake or 2.
You can afford that on a regular basis?
Oh, yes.
So, as a canon, you must get quite a bang for your buck.
No, the St. Edithna doesn't charge very much out of season. I never stay the night. And yet, they made a formal complaint against me to the bishop.
Who did?
My accusers from my congregation. They allege I had a female companion in my room.
That's quite an allegation.
They've got a witness. A maid says she saw me open the door to a woman.
And what do you say?
They're going to charge me with conduct unbecoming a clerk in holy orders. Do you perhaps appear in ecclesiastical courts, Horace?
There is no court in heaven or earth where Rumpole isn't ready or willing to appear. On the day of judgment, I can assure you I shall be prepared to get up on my hind legs and put a few impertinent questions to the prosecution. You've asked the right man, Timmy.
Oh, yes. Rumpole's become quite the expert on adulterous behaviour.
Not that my wife's suggesting you are guilty of any kind of adulterous behaviour, Timmy.
Yes, I am.
And my reputation for never pleading guilty is probably what drew you to me. Is that why you picked on Rumpole for this ecclesiastical cause célèbre?
Actually, I don't know any other barristers.
Oh.
Heirs triumph with son of York defenceless.
That night, as we lay together in the matrimonial bed, separated by a couple of feet of mattress and Hilda's absorbing crossword puzzle, she who must be obeyed spoke up with deep feeling.
Oh, it's absolutely disgusting.
A rude word in the Daily Telegraph?
Even the clergy are misbehaving nowadays.
It's mainly the clergy who are misbehaving from what you read in the news of the world.
From what you read in the news of the world, Rumpole, I refuse to look at that dreadful rag. And I've no idea why you continue to do so.
A fellow has to keep up with the law reports, Hilda. I rather took to Canon Timmy.
Oh, I expect you did. No doubt you're birds of a feather.
Meaning what?
Well, I've always had my suspicions about that pupil in Chambers.
That pupil?
What's she called? Begins with a P. Probert.
Liz Probert? Oh, you can't be serious.
I suppose she'll be helping you with Timmy's case.
She's got nothing better to do.
Spending afternoons in hotel bedrooms, just for a bit of peace and quiet. I never heard anything so ridiculous. And yet you'll be defending him.
I thought you'd be pleased. He is, after all, family.
Not my family. Donkin family, bad blood, oddbods and ruffians. Timmy's sister, Wendy, who no one ever mentions, she went to jail.
How do you know that, Hilda?
Everyone knows that, Rumpole.
Even though no one ever mentions her?
Ugh, don't be obtuse. Good night, Rumpole.
Oh, are we going to sleep now?
Well, if you can, Rumpole. With your conscience.
She who must be obeyed still had Liz Probert in her sights. My conscience was perfectly clear with respect to that particular pupil. As for the Portia of our chambers, Phillida Erskine Brown, née Trant, well, she was about to give birth to her baby, the father of whom was probably my learned friend Claude Erskine Brown. It was thoughts of Phillida that kept me awake for what seemed like hours, but might have been just a couple of minutes. I arrived in the early afternoon of the day before Canon Timmy was due to stand trial, and found the cathedral, grey and gold in the sunlight, quiet and dignified in a lake of green grass in the middle of the close. It looked splendidly aloof after centuries of war, thanksgiving and martyrdom, to the small matter of one of its clergy being guilty, or not, of conduct unbecoming his cloth. Canon Timmy looked equally aloof when I found him near the west entrance replenishing a table of leaflets containing fascinating facts about the history of the building.
And, of course, the original church was built by Bishop Sartorius in the year 852 and was dedicated to St. Edithna, who was accused of, shenanigans of a sexual nature. Trumped-up charges, of course.
Of course.
Because the problem was actually that the Romans didn't like her converting everyone to Christianity. Still, she was found guilty, stoned to death on the site of the very hotel in which you'll be staying yourself, Horace.
Ooh, is there a blue plaque to commemorate the stoning?
No, but some visitors to the hotel do claim to have seen the ghost of St. Edithna as she haunts the corridors at night, wringing her hands in despair. Others say she's only visible if you've partaken of the restaurant cheese board. Apparently she appears in a white gown, head bowed, lost in prayer. Can you imagine such a ghastly vision in your mind's eye?
Erskine Brown.
I'm sorry?
Kneeling in the middle of a sea of empty pews was a familiar figure.
I must just have a word.
Yes, of course.
Claude Erskine Brown was lost in prayer, head bowed, hands clasped together, and so I made my excuses to Canon Timmy and tiptoed over to join my learned friend. When holy and devout religious men are at their beads, 'tis much to draw them thence, so sweet is zealous contemplation.
Rumpole, what on earth are you doing here?
Oh, I drop into West Country cathedrals from time to time just to charge up the spiritual batteries.
You're joking?
Of course I'm joking. As a matter of fact, I'm pursuing my career in the ecclesiastical courts.
You can't do that.
Why ever not?
You have to be a practising member of the Church of England.
I am a member of the Church of England, and I practice down the Old Bailey. How did you get in on the act?
Sam Ballard was asked to suggest someone to prosecute a cleric.
Soapy Sam? Why on earth was our esteemed head of chambers asked for his suggestion? Is he still president of the Lawyers' Christian Society?
More than that, Rumpole. He's the Chancellor of Launceston, the judge for this diocese. Didn't you know?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course I knew. Well, now, it's all down to Bollard, isn't it?
What's down to Bollard? Ballard.
Whether my client gets to keep his frock.
He hasn't got a hope in hell.
Hell, in this case, being a trial conducted by you in front of the blessed Bollard.
I do hope you're not going to quote the Bible at me.
Why ever not? The Bible has noble poetry in it, and some good morals, and a wealth of obscenity, and upwards of 1,000 lies.
Oscar Wilde?
Mark Twain, and I will quote the Bible. I will quote any book, good or bad. There is nothing I won't stoop to in the ruthless defence of my client. Erskine Brown and I walked in thoughtful silence to the St. Edithna Hotel. I've no idea what my learned friend was thinking, but I couldn't stop mulling over the irony of defending a case of alleged adultery against a man whose wife had slept with me. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doth it destroyeth his own soul. There was a queue at the reception desk, but Erskine Brown decided not to wait. He was meeting some people in the lounge for tea.
The 6 accusers, Rumpole. There have to be 6, of course, according to ecclesiastical law, which you know all about.
Oh, yes, 6 accusers because of, just remind me.
A case of conduct unbecoming against a priest has to be brought by 6 of his parishioners. It's they who have to put up the money for the trial.
So they're pretty keen to unfrock the canon.
Oh, very much so. Especially old Lambert.
Who?
Oh, really, Rumpole? Have you even opened your brief?
Opened it, certainly. Read it thoroughly? Not quite.
Peter Lambert is the biggest estate agent in this part of the country. Lambert and Palfrey. You'll see their signs everywhere in Launceston. Well, Palfrey's dead now, of course.
Of course.
But Lambert lives on to rid the cathedral of this turbulent priest.
Yeah, I'd hardly call him turbulent. Rather ineffectual, actually, but there's no law against that, ecclesiastical or otherwise. The Reverend Donkin, turbulent or ineffectual, or however you wish to describe him, lived in a Georgian rectory just outside the cathedral precincts.
Careful of the balls, Horace. And the roller skates.
Oh, yes. Evidence of his children was everywhere to be seen. But his wife was not. Are you okay down there?
Yes, I didn't notice that, what is it? Oh, bottle lurking in the shadows. The boys do love their fizzy pop. I'd make you some tea, but I fear Gertrude's in the kitchen. We're not really speaking at the moment. Safer if I keep my distance.
Oh, right.
We can find somewhere to sit in here, I think. Just move that gun and bow and arrow. Oh, sorry. Was that another arrow? They do get everywhere.
I saw a sign on the way here, Timmy.
A sign from God?
No, from Lambert and Palfrey estate agents. They seem to have bought the field next door.
I believe they intend to sell it to someone who will build 12 bungalows. We've tried to object, but Lambert has friends in the planning department. He has friends everywhere.
Do you have friends?
I have a small but loyal congregation.
And a small but loyal family.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Remind me, your mother Esme is my wife's first cousin?
That's right.
And you have a sister? Just the one sister? What's she called?
Wendy.
Younger, older?
I'm afraid we never speak about Wendy.
Ah, yes. She who must was telling me...
I'm sorry, she who must?
My wife, Hilda. She was telling me that no one talks about Wendy. I was wondering why not. I see. Then let's talk about theology.
Theology?
Well, to be more specific, faith, blind, trusting belief. Are you capable of that?
I like to think so.
Putting yourself in someone else's hands entirely.
Trusting God.
Trusting me. No criticism of the Almighty, of course, but I wonder if he's had quite as much courtroom experience.
I trust you, of course, Horace.
Then tell me, who was in the hotel bedroom with you?
I think that's a matter I'd rather leave between the two of us.
Between you and the lady concerned?
Between me and God. My conscience is perfectly clear. He will be my judge.
Eventually, but tomorrow your judge will be Soapy Sam Ballard. So hadn't you better tell me?
No.
And when you're in the witness box, when you're under oath?
I shall simply say I don't consider it to be anyone's business.
You're making my job impossible.
I'm sure you'll do your best.
I always do my best, but I can't perform miracles, and what we need now is a veritable act of God.
Amen to that.
As a storm of biblical proportions raged outside, I sat alone at a table in the hotel restaurant that evening. Erskine Brown was placed in solitary confinement at a separate table, and tucked into a far corner was none other than the Chancellor, the head of chambers, Soapy Sam Ballard himself. By himself.
Good evening, Ballard.
Is that you, Rumpole?
Of course not. It's the Archbishop of Canterbury travelling incognito. I say, Erskine Brown...
What is it, Rumpole?
Why don't we three get together for dinner?
With the case coming on tomorrow? That would hardly be appropriate.
I think it more seemly, Rumpole, if I dine alone.
But you'd have the defence and the prosecution with you. I mean, neither of us could nobble you.
Oh.
I suppose, Judge...
Chancellor, please, Erskine Brown. It is an ecclesiastical title.
Of course, Chancellor. I suppose I shouldn't have any rooted objection if both the defence and the prosecution were represented at your table.
But it wouldn't be right for us to discuss the case.
Oh, good heavens, no.
No.
For us to discuss the case would be quite improper, Chancellor.
We can talk about anything else, though, can't we? Come on, gentlemen, shift around a bit.
Oh, that's my glass. Be careful.
I'm really not sure there's room.
I must admit my enthusiasm to share the Chancellor's table wasn't entirely due to the delights of Soapy Sam's company and conversation. The rain rattled against the windows, and the St. Edithna sign creaked in the wind.
Some rise by sin, and some by virtue fall. Some run from breaks of ice, and answer none. And some condemned for a fault alone.
Is that,
Measure for measure.
As I thought. Act 1.
Act 2.
Scene 2.
Scene 1.
No.
The point is, a night like this makes you think of injustice.
Does it?
Injustice. It's the same thing, whether in a court of law or a cathedral.
What are you talking about, Rumpole?
Oh, what a strange sound the wind is making. Can you hear it?
It's raining.
More than that. Can't you hear the sound of a woman crying out in pain at the wrong she's been forced to suffer?
No.
Nor me.
Clearly you chaps have no belief in miracles.
Miracles are certainly an essential part of Christian dogma. I'm sure we all accept that.
So we accept the story of the blessed Saint Edithna? A Christian woman in Roman times who was falsely accused of adultery because her beliefs irritated the establishment. They stoned her to death on this very spot. And where she fell dead, a small stream of cold water came trickling from the ground.
Yeah, it must have been the one that came out of my bath tap this evening.
Just a moment, Claude. I'm not sure we should take these mysteries so lightly.
Oh, I'm frightfully sorry, Chancellor.
An old inn was built on St. Edithna's well in the Middle Ages, but it's said she keeps walking.
Walking?
Whenever some great injustice is done. For instance, 400 years ago, almost to the day, when a previous chancellor had a couple of extremely decent canons burnt to a cinder on the cathedral green. St. Edithna appeared on the staircase of the old inn,
wringing her hands and crying out at the top of her voice.
Yes, she was probably wondering what happened to her breakfast.
Oh, ye Erskine Brown of little faith.
There is nothing in the teaching of our church to suggest that miracles are no longer possible.
How true, Chancellor. And injustice continues to this very day. We can only hope that the poor lady will soon rest in peace.
Indeed, indeed.
But listen to the wind. There seems a definite hint of sobbing. Don't you think?
But there again, who can say?
Whether Bollard agreed with me or not, I took the opportunity later that night to point out the exact staircase where St. Edithna had walked, right next to the Chancellor's bedroom. And just before I finally turned in, I have to confess, I moaned very quietly just outside his door. When Soapy Sam opened it a fraction and peered through the gap into the shadowy corridor.
Hello? Who's there? Hello?
I saw the look of terror on his face and knew that the tale of the walking, wailing St. Edithna would haunt him all night long.
Oh, good Lord!
Sure enough, the Chancellor of the diocese looked like death warmed up as he sat in the chapter house of the cathedral next morning, ready to hear the trial of Canon Timothy Donkin. Robed and wigged, Bollard occupied a throne carved for a medieval bishop. Ranged around him was the jury of 4 assessors, with a clerk of the court in front, and an ecclesiastical usher lurking by his side. My learned friend, Claude Erskine Brown, was there with his cohort of official complainers, and I sat on an unyielding chair as the sole protector of Canon Timmy. The stage was set for a trial of heresy.
Canon Donkin has attempted as best he can to convince his flock and this court that he used the bedroom in the St. Edithna Hotel to write his sermons. This improbable excuse becomes incredible when one learns that he frequently worked in the cathedral library, allegedly researching the history of Launceston. Which begs the question, why did he not also write his sermons in the library?
I'll tell you why, Horace. Because the librarian never shuts up, and I couldn't concentrate.
Yes, I'll make that point in due course.
Mr. Erskine Brown, is there any dispute as to whether the accused actually booked himself into a room at the St. Edithna Hotel?
We have written proof. A registration slip that shows the canon occupied room 39 on the 17th of March last year. A double room with twin beds and a bathroom. The twin beds can be pulled together if the occasion demands.
Oh, really?
Chancellor, with great respect, may I interrupt to point out that the hotel has no single rooms? Every bedroom has either twin beds or a double bed.
Oh, Rumpole!
I'd hate the jury to jump to the conclusion that the accused requested a couple of beds for the purpose of hanky-panky.
Mr. Rumpole, we are within church precincts.
I was forgetting, forgive me. No more hanky-panky in here.
I prefer conduct unbecoming.
I'm sure we all do, Chancellor.
After some more tedious evidence about how much and how often Canon Timmy paid for his hotel rooms, a woman with untidy hair and overbitten fingernails found herself in the witness box. This was Miss Rita O'Keefe, a chambermaid at the St. Edithna, who'd worked there for 3 years and was not only present on the 17th of March, but actually standing at the end of a convenient corridor.
The third floor corridor, with a view of room 39?
That's right, sir, yes. And I could see the fire door from the emergency staircase, and when it opened, I saw this woman.
Now, can you describe her?
Not really, sir, no. The light was behind her, and all I saw was she looked very thin, very slender.
And what kind of age would you say she was? Elderly, perhaps?
No, sir, no, she was my sort of age.
Then certainly not elderly, my dear.
Oh, thank you, sir.
God. And what happened next?
She walked very quickly, sir, to the door of number 39.
Canon Donkin's room?
Yes, sir, yes. And she knocked on the door, and he opened it.
Now, when you say he, you mean Canon Donkin?
Yes, sir. Father Duncan. He let her into the room and he shut the door. I kept watching for a bit longer, but they never came out again. Not while I was there.
And how long did you stand in the corridor?
About half an hour before the woman arrived, another half hour after she went in the room. I was in reception by 6 o'clock and I saw Father Duncan go out the front door and walk away from the hotel. Then I went up to his room and I saw the beds were made up, but there were cigarettes in the ashtray and they all had lipstick on them, so... Well now, I cleaned up the room and I was done for the night.
Thank you, Miss O'Keefe. Will you stay there in case my learned friend...
What did you do with those cigarette butts, Miss O'Keefe? Did you keep them?
Of course not, sir. No, I put them in the bin.
And you say the beds had not been slept in?
No, Mr. Rumpole, the witness said the beds were made up. But they could have been made up after usage.
If they were singularly domesticated lovers, I suppose you're right, Chancellor. Miss O'Keefe, you told us you stood watching in the corridor for half an hour before and half an hour after you saw a woman admitted to that room.
Yes, sir, yes.
You just stood there, neglecting your duties?
I had no duties at all, sir. It was my afternoon off.
Your afternoon off? And you chose to spend it spying on Canon Donkin?
That gentleman asked me to keep an eye on the Reverend.
What gentleman?
Him, over there.
You're pointing at Mr. Peter Lambert, estate agent and accuser of the accused?
Mr. Lambert, sir, yes.
And how much did Mr. Lambert pay you? 30 pieces of silver?
Oh, I really must object, Chancellor.
Yes, Mr. Rumpole, I think we should try and keep the Bible out of this.
Am I to understand that the Gospels do not apply in the ecclesiastical court?
No, of course not. I mean, they do. I think it might be a good time to take another adjournment. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Miss O'Keefe.
Oh, you're very welcome, sir. God bless.
The evidence of this chambermaid had thrown the prosecution into some confusion, as well as the Chancellor. As Erskine Brown conferred with his 6 accusers, I took a stroll around the cathedral with the accused.
You say you're researching the history of this place. You do that in the library?
When the librarian allows me a little peace and quiet, all the relevant paperwork is there. Ancient documents, contracts, agreements, diaries.
Found anything of interest? Orgies in the organ loft?
No. But there was a gift of land to the cathedral from the Crown in 1672.
Not quite as exciting.
Well, it seems likely that King Charles II favoured the diocese with the field next door, the field that backs onto my garden, and wished to have it protected in perpetuam.
The field with Lambert and Porphyry's sign stuck in the hedge.
They say they bought it. I say they can't. And I'm going to fight them in every court in the land.
Timmy, you don't think perhaps that that's why Lambert wants you defrocked?
What? Gosh. You mean he's worried that I'll stop him from making some money?
Well, if you have proof.
I don't have definitive proof. Not yet. I've seen a couple of draft contracts, and I think I'll find some more. But I'm not ready to prove anything just yet.
Which is why he wants you out of the way. It's clear to me these trumped-up charges are a smokescreen. But the jury and the Chancellor will have heard Miss O'Keefe and may possibly believe she saw what she said she saw.
Oh, I am not an adulterer, Horace. No one in their right mind would believe that I am.
And no one in their right mind would believe that I was having a torrid affair with my pupil, Liz Probert, apart from she who must be obeyed, who arrived, unannounced, in the St. Edithna Hotel that very night.
Rumpole!
Hilda, what the hell are you doing? I mean, how lovely to see you.
Bit of a shock, is it? Ruining your plans for the night, am I? Well, where is she?
Where's who?
You know perfectly well who. Upstairs, I suppose, helping you with your briefs. You men are all the same. Cousin Tim is no better.
What are you talking about, Hilda?
I'm talking about your so-called pupil, Elizabeth Probert, of course. You going out for dinner with the girl?
No.
Better make it a table for 3.
2.
You and Probert?
You and I. We shall be dining à deux. Liz Probert is enjoying a formal dinner in the inner temple, so I'm told.
She's not here.
Oh. Are you very disappointed?
No. I wanted to look around Launchester anyway, and, now it's too late to return to London.
Well, we'd best find a restaurant. The food here is rather like my jokes.
Stale, nauseating, or merely tasteless.
Oh, Hilda, that's rather unkind.
The small Italian trattoria around the corner was disappointing, but in its favour did not contain Bollard or Erskine Brown, who were unaware that she who must was paying me a visit. As we tucked into our lasagna and linguine, I felt a little dishonest with my repeated pleas of innocence concerning the alleged adultery with Liz Probert. I couldn't help thinking about my other pupil in chambers, Miss Phillida Trant, the imminent arrival of the baby that everyone assumed had been fathered by Erskine Brown. Putting those thoughts to one side, I accompanied Hilda back to the hotel, where she found fault with every aspect of her temporary accommodation.
What do you mean it's broken?
It refuses to flush, Hilda.
If I give it a proper pull...
No! I tried that before and it flooded the room. Just pop along the landing. There's a loo at the top of the stairs.
A plan was forming in my mind. Divine inspiration or not, our broken cistern changed the course of history. Or at least the history of Canon Timothy Donkin.
I'm really not happy, Rumpole. Not happy at all.
She who must set off along the corridor wearing her faded white nightdress, with her hair now flopping over her face, which was covered in some kind of cream. I didn't like to ask its purpose. Suffice to say, she looked a picture I wanted to share with Chancellor Bollard. And so, when Hilda was safely installed in the communal loo, I turned off a couple of lights and waited by the staircase.
Where's the switch? Aha! That's better. Not too dark.
When, moments later, I heard the sound of rushing water, I rattled the handle on Soapy Sam's door, then quickly disappeared into a shadowy alcove. Sam, in pyjamas, opened the door and peered out into the gloomy corridor.
Hello?
What he saw must have filled him with terror and foreboding. A tallish woman, clothed in white, lank hair half hiding her pale, gleaming face, was passing by, her hands clasped together, until she could find a nice, clean towel. Soapy Sam uttered a strangled cry and fell back inside his bedroom.
Poor woman.
There to contemplate the dreadful results of injustice.
Thank God. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
You should have prunes every morning, not fried bread.
Don't like prunes.
They keep you regular.
So does Chateau Thames Embankment. You're quite sure you won't stay another night?
Oh, in a hotel with such primitive sanitary arrangements? I think not.
Oh, shame.
Oh, by the way, I asked members of the Donkin family about Wendy.
Who?
Wendy Donkin, Timmy's sister.
The girl no one talks about.
It seems everyone's got something to say.
Oh.
She went to prison, theft and fraud. She came out, did some more stealing or fraud or something. Anyway, she'll go back to prison if the police ever catch her. But no one knows where she is.
No one?
Do you know where she is, Rumpole? You have that look on your face.
I have no idea where she might be now. I suspect I know where she was on the 17th of March, though.
The next morning, in order to confirm my suspicions, I met Canon Timmy in the crypt. All I needed was a confession, but it seemed I didn't have a prayer.
Poor Wendy.
Never mind your sympathy. Think of your reputation, of your career. It was Wendy you met in that hotel room, wasn't it? Perhaps you were writing a sermon, but you also made time to see your sister. Yes?
I can't say.
You had no idea you were being watched by Lambert's spy, but you were. So now you have to tell the truth.
No.
Did you give your sister some money?
I gave her a promise.
What?
Not to tell anyone I'd seen her.
Well, it's a promise you'll have to break. I'm going to put you in the witness box and you'll tell Soapy Sam all about it.
No! I gave my word. I'm not bringing Wendy into this.
Are you insane?
I don't think so. But I am quite determined.
For God's sake, I can't represent a saint.
I'm not trying to be a saint.
Yeah, there you are, Rumpole. The Chancellor wants to see us. Now.
Soapy Sam looked pale and weary when Erskine Brown dragged me into his sanctum behind the chapter house. Had he spent a rough night on the road to Damascus?
I must tell you both, I have given this case the most anxious consideration.
Well, I shouldn't have thought there was much doubt about the facts.
Facts are not everything. This isn't an ordinary court, and we are here to exercise a very special jurisdiction. We must be careful not to commit an injustice against an innocent person. We have, of course, the memory of a certain martyr in our minds.
Oh, very much so, Chancellor. Saint Edithna is always in my mind.
We must be grateful for any sort of guidance this holy city of Launceston can give us.
Guidance?
Guidance comes to us from many unexpected sources. A woman in white on the landing.
What on earth are you talking about, Chancellor?
I think what his worship means, Erskine Brown, is that there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy.
Exactly, Rumpole. Very well put, if I may say so. I have thought anxiously about this case, and I'm not ashamed to say that I have prayed.
Haven't we all? You've prayed too, I hope, Erskine Brown?
Well, yes, but...
I have come to a clear decision. Having regard to the evidence about the financial interests involved, and the possibility that Miss O'Keefe might have been tempted to, shall we say, invent her statement in return for money.
There's a lot of original sin about nowadays.
I have come to the conclusion that it would not be safe to proceed any further against Canon Donkin. I will direct the assessors to acquit.
Oh, no! Are you willing to hear arguments, Chancellor?
Give up, Erskine Brown. God's agin you.
The vision of She Who Must had clearly worked miracles with Bollard. I was counting my blessings on the platform of Launceston Station when my ex-client, Canon Timmy, came running towards me.
Horace! Oh, I thought I'd missed you.
I looked for you in the cathedral.
I'm sorry, I couldn't face another inquisition, so I hid in the organ loft.
But you've heard the good news.
I retain my frock. I live on to fight Lambert and Palfrey.
Well, with God on your side, how can you lose?
Ah, Rumpole, you're still here. So I'm not too late.
For what, Erskine Brown?
The 2:25. The next one's a stopping train, and I have to get home as quickly as possible.
Is something wrong?
It's Phillida.
What? What's happened?
She's had the baby.
Oh, congratulations.
Well, not just one baby, 2 babies, twins. And we had absolutely no idea.
Twins?
Oh, a double blessing. A veritable quiverful.
Yes, it's fantastic news. If it was a boy, we were going to call him Siegfried. If it was a girl, I rather fancied Brunhilde. But now, we've got one of each. We can name them Tristan und Isolde.
Charming.
When we arrived at Paddington Station, I managed to persuade Erskine Brown that a traditional wetting of the babies' heads was required before he hurried home to Islington. In truth, I felt it was my duty to try and persuade him that names from a Wagnerian opera would not make his children the most popular members of the playground. But my pearls of wisdom fell on stony ground. Why was I feeling so protective of his children? Was I still in any doubt that Erskine Brown was the father? And so, after a bottle or two of Chateau Fleet Street and a final toast to Tristan, Isolde, und Wagnerian heroes everywhere, I made my way home to receive my usual benediction.
Is that you, Rumpole?
No, it's Wotan, the god of light, air, and wind.
Oh, for goodness sake, Rumpole, you have to.
Good evening, Hilda. May I pour you a gin and tonic? Perhaps a glass of Pomeroy is very ordinary for myself.
You're quite sure you haven't had enough?
Quite sure, thank you. I'm sorry your little holiday in the West Country was so short.
I don't know why I came down in the first place.
Oh, it was enormously kind of you, and you did more good than you realise.
By finding out about Cousin Wendy?
That information was valuable, but your presence, your very presence, was miraculous. They say miracles are past, and we have our philosophical persons to make modern and familiar things supernatural and causeless. Hence it is that we make trifles of terrors, ensconcing ourselves into seeming knowledge, when we should submit ourselves to an unknown fear.
You're very drunk, aren't you, Rumpole?
Yes. Do try and catch up. Cheers.
Oh. Cheers. Thank you. The reason I came to see you, I don't want you to think, it was not because I was jealous.
Of course not.
Even so, there's no reason for me to worry about Elizabeth Probert, is there?
No reason at all to worry about Liz.
Good. I should have had more faith in you, Rumpole.
Faith? There's no trust, no faith, no honesty in men. All perjured, all forsworn, all naught, all dissemblers.
Shakespeare?
Romeo and Juliet.
Faith is to believe what you do not see. The reward of this faith is to see what you believe. Now, who said that? Was it St. Augustine?
Do you know, I think I've had enough of all these saints. I admit I owe the blessed Saint Elithna a huge thank you. As for the rest, they can all go to
Rumpole, don't you dare.
Ooh, sorry, Hilda, going too far. Well, let's raise our glasses and drink to the Age of Miracles.
The Age of Miracles.
Bottoms up.
In Rumpole and the Age of Miracles by John Mortimer, Horace Rumpole was Benedict Cumberbatch, Hilda Rumpole, Jasmine Hyde, Claude Erskine Brown, Nigel Anthony, Sam Ballard, Michael Cochrane, and Tim Donkin was Roger May. Other parts were played by members of the company. Rumpole and the Age of Miracles was adapted by Richard Stoneman, directed by Marilyn Imrie, and is a Catherine Bailey production for BBC Radio 4. Rumpole and the Tap End by John Mortimer. Adapted by Richard Stoneman, starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Horace Rumpole.
Passes the shampoo, darling.
Right, you all over. There you go.
In the bleak, depressing streets where southeast London becomes Kent, there used to exist a family by the name of Timpson. They were villains for whom, over the years, I acted as Attorney General. Tony Timpson was a mild-mannered receiver of stolen televisions, radiograms, motor scooters, and carpets.
What do you mean?
I'm only saying...
He lived, may still live,
Let's just say
with his long-suffering wife, April, in a terraced house on a housing estate just west of Dartford.
It's just what I heard.
Or what you saw for yourself.
Maybe I did. What are you going to do about it?
On the day when my story starts, this undesirable home was rent with screams from the bathroom and a stream of soapy water flowing out from under the door. In the screaming, The word murderer was often repeated at a volume which was audible to those of the neighbours who were hanging out their washing or cleaning their untaxed, uninsured vehicles. Someone, it was not clear who it was at the time, telephoned the local cop shop for assistance. Almost immediately, a police car arrived and the front door was flung open by a wet and desperate April Timpson. As Detective Inspector Brush, an officer who had fought a running battle with the Timpson family for years, came up the path to meet her, she sobbed at the top of her voice.
Oh, thank God you've come! He was only trying to kill me!
Tony Timpson emerged from the bathroom a few seconds later, water dripping from his hippie-length hair and his gaucho moustache. Looking down the stairs, he saw his wife in hysterics and his domestic hearth invaded by the old Bill. No sooner had he reached the hallway than he was arrested and charged with the attempted murder of his wife. The particulars being that while sharing a bath with April preparatory to going to a neighbour's party, he had tried to cause her death by drowning.
An attempted murderer? You, Tony?
I was provoked, Mr. Rumpole. It wasn't my fault.
I found myself in conference with my client in a room in Brixton, Nick.
She told me what she was planning on wearing. It was all that skin-tight, halter-neck, see-through business. You know what I mean?
I'm trying not to imagine.
We was going to this party, see, round April's friend Chrissy. And that was what she was going to change into when she got out of the bath.
I hardly think a revealing costume entitles you to drown your wife.
Well,
she says you pulled her legs and she became submerged. Anyway, how did you come to be in the same bath?
Oh, we always shared, ever since we was courting. Don't all married couples?
That's to say, yes, indeed.
Speaking for myself and she who must be obeyed, the answer, of course, was no.
Well, it's like this, you see. April likes me to sit up by the taps so I can do the shampoo and rinse off her hair.
Mm-hmm.
She finds that end that much more comfortable, know what I mean?
She makes you sit at the tap end?
I never made no objection. Although you can get your back a bit scalded, and those taps can dig into you sometimes.
So you were on friendly terms when you both entered the water?
Yeah, she was all right then. We was both affectionate like. She washed her hair as per usual, and I rinsed it off. Then she told me who else was going to be at the party.
Oh, yes. I saw the name. Where is it? Mr. Peter Malloy.
Oh, him.
Your wife was proposing to take you to a social gathering attended by Peanuts Malloy.
The Malloys are to the Timpsons as the Montagues were to the Capulets. Their feud goes back to the days when the whole of South London was laid down to pasture, and their quarrelling was over stolen sheep.
It wasn't just that Peanuts was going to be there, Mr. Rumpole. It was what April said about him and me. Sort of comparison-like.
A comparison of what?
Well, you know.
I don't know, Tony. Spell it out, please.
It was on the apropos of his privates. Well, there was me in the bath, and she said she'd heard stories about Peanuts and how he was hung like an...
Yes, thank you, Tony. I get the picture now. And what we need is a sympathetic judge who doesn't want to waste his time on a long, drawn-out case.
Let's hope.
Who have we got?
We got Sir Guthrie Featherstone, QC, a well-meaning old darling who was once head of our chambers, but was now a red judge, slumming it down the Old Bailey. In his cosy room behind his court, he seemed reluctant to spend much time on a ticklish attempted murder.
Is this going to last very long, do you think? I am bidden to take tea in the neighbourhood of Victoria. Can you fellows guess where?
The pompous old prosecutor, Charles Hearthstoke, was in no mood for party games.
Sorry, my lord, we give up.
No, we don't. Is it the station buffet?
The station buffet? Isn't that you all over, Horace? You will have your joke. No. Not far off, though. Buck House.
Oh.
Her Majesty has invited me. No, correction. Commanded me to a royal garden party. So, naturally, one would have to be free by lunchtime. Hearthstoke, is this a long case from a prosecution point of view?
It is an extremely serious case, my lord. Attempted murder. We've put it down for a week.
Yeah. I'm astonished that my learned friend Mr. Hearthrug should think it could possibly last so long.
Hearthstoke.
Have it your own way. With a bit of common sense, we could finish this in half an hour.
Thereby saving public time and money.
Exactly. As you know, it is an article of my religion never to plead guilty.
Yes,
But
quite.
bearing in mind all the facts in this case, I'm prepared to advise Timpson to put his hands up to common assault. He'll agree to be bound over to keep the peace.
Common assault? Binding over? He tried to drown the woman.
My lord, he was seated at the tap end of the bath. His wife, lying back comfortably in the depths, passed an extremely wounding remark about my client's virility.
The tap end? Did you say he was seated at the tap end, Horace?
I'm afraid so, my lord.
This troubles me. How does it come about he was seated at the tap end?
His wife insisted on it.
This woman insisted that her husband sat with his back squashed up against the taps.
She made him sit in that position so he could rinse off her hair.
You're sure?
There can be no doubt about it.
Hearthrug.
Stoke, my lord.
Yes.
Hearthstoke.
Yes, of course. Hearthstoke. Is this one of the facts agreed by the prosecution?
I can't see that it makes the slightest difference.
You can't see? Horace, was this conduct in any way typical of the woman's attitude towards her husband?
I regret to say entirely typical.
So you're telling me that this husband deeply resented the position in which he found himself?
What married man would not, my lord?
And his natural resentment led to a purely domestic dispute?
Such as might occur in the very best bathrooms.
And you're content to be bound over to keep the peace?
Reluctantly, my lord, I would agree to that restriction on my client's liberty.
Mr. Hearthstoke, my compliments to those instructing you, but in my opinion it would be a gross waste of public funds to continue with this charge of attempted murder. We should be finished by 11:30.
And so we all trooped through into court number 3 to polish off R.V. Timpson, and to make sure that Her Majesty had the pleasure of Guthrie's presence over tea and strawberries. I made a token speech in mitigation, something of a formality, as I knew that I was pushing at an open door. When I sat down, Guthrie thanked me sincerely, then passed sentence on Tony Timpson in a number of peculiarly ill-chosen words.
Timpson, I have heard about you and your wife's habit of taking a bath together. It is not for this court to say that communal bathing in time of peace, when it is not in the national interest to save water, is appropriate conduct in married life. Chacun a son goût, as a wise Frenchman once said. No, what throws a flood of light on this case is that you, Timpson, habitually sat at the tap end of the bath. It seems you had a great deal to put up with. And your wife, she, it appears from the evidence, washed her hair in the more placid waters of the other end. I accept that this was a purely domestic dispute. For the common assault to which you have pleaded guilty, you will be bound over to keep the peace in the sum of 10 guineas.
So, Tony Timpson was at liberty, and the case was over. I had no idea at that point of the full extent of the tide which was about to overwhelm poor old Guthrie Featherstone, but I had a shrewd suspicion that his lordship might find himself in deep, deep water.
Are you laughing, Hilda, or is there something stuck in your throat? Perhaps a remnant of tonight's pork chop.
Did you read the Evening Standard on the way home, Rumpole?
I was going to, but I must have dozed off.
Oh, so you didn't see this piece about Guthrie Featherstone?
Show me.
Carry on drowning. Tap-end judge's amazing decision.
Oh, God.
Wives who share baths with their husbands will have to be careful where they sit in the future. Because 29-year-old April Timpson of Bexley Heath made her husband Tony sit at the tap end, the judge dismissed a charge of attempted murder against him. It seems you had a good deal to put up with, 55-year-old Mr. Justice Featherstone told Timpson, a 36-year-old window cleaner. Oh, did Guthrie really say that, Rumpole?
Something like that, I think.
And what was your part in this travesty?
Travesty?
This Timpson fellow was your client. I imagine you think it's quite acceptable to drown a wife. Like drowning puppies. You think it's all perfectly understandable. Well, Rumpole, you'd better not try anything like that with me.
Hilda! It's never crossed my mind.
Anyway, Tony Timpson didn't drown his wife. He didn't come anywhere near drowning her. It was just a matrimonial tiff in the bathroom.
Well, why should she have to sit at the tap end?
Why, indeed. If she had, and she'd tried to drown him because of it, I'd have defended her with equal skill and success. There you are, you see. Absolutely no prejudice when it comes to accepting a brief.
You think men and women are entirely equal?
Everyone is equal in the dock.
And in the home?
Well, yes, of course. Although I suppose some are born to command. Was what I thought, but did not say. Trust me, Hilda. I love women. I would never be unfair to any one of them.
But you are unfair. You and every other man in the legal profession.
What?
You may think you're as good as gold, as blind as Lady Justice, but you're as bad as Guthrie Featherstone.
No.
And it can't go on like this. You've always said I had an eye for detail when looking at your briefs. Well, I think it's time to put my expertise to better use. I shall read for the bar.
The bar, Hilda? You want to be a barrister, but...
I'm just a woman?
No. I was going to say that I think that's a wonderful idea. In actual fact, the thought of Hilda studying law for years filled me with dread. Not that I was against the idea because she was a woman. I was merely against the idea because she was Hilda.
There were women outside the Bailey this morning, Horace, and last night. They were shouting at me.
Poor Guthrie had called me into his chambers with prosecuting counsel. His lordship seemed very upset.
They want me sacked, and it's all because of the tap-end business, which you whittled on about for absolutely ages.
I was merely explaining my client's position.
You led me up the garden path, and now they're waving banners calling for my dismissal.
I think you will find that a High Court judge can only be dismissed by a bill passed through both Houses of Parliament.
And you think that unlikely, Hearthrug?
Hearthstoke.
Nevertheless, something has to be done. For all I know now, the Lord Chancellor is, at this moment, planning my retirement. I should make amends for your mistake, Horace.
My mistake, my lord?
I've invited the gentlemen of the press to attend my court, where I plan to clarify my decision in the case of Timpson.
When you say gentlemen of the press, you have actually met those hacks, my lord?
We was hoping for a shot of the wife in the bath.
Naked, eh?
Completely starkers with bubbles, obviously.
Obviously.
But she wouldn't do it for less than a pony.
Outrageous!
I know. Greedy cow.
The hacks filled their benches, then listened in silence as Guthrie attempted to explain his position.
I have had my attention drawn to the report of the case in the Times, in which I am quoted as saying to Timpson, it seems you had a great deal to put up with, and your wife, she, it appears from the evidence, washed her hair in the more placid waters, etc. It is the full stop which has been misplaced. And I have checked this carefully with the learned shorthand writer, and she agrees with me. The sentence in my judgment in fact read, it seems you had a great deal to put up with, comma, and your wife. Full stop. What I intended to convey, and I should like the press to take note of this, was that both Mr. and Mrs. Timpson had a good deal to put up with. At different ends of the path, of course. 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. I hope that's clear.
As clear as mud, old darling.
You writing this down? You must be joking.
I certainly never said that I regarded being seated at the tap end as legal provocation to attempted murder. I would have said that it was one of the facts that the jury might have taken into consideration. It could possibly have thrown some light on this wife's attitude to her husband.
What's he trying to do?
Get himself out of hot water.
But the attempted murder charge was dropped, and the entire tap-end question was really academic, as Timpson pleaded guilty to common assault. Do you agree, Mr. Rumpole?
Certainly, my lord. You gave him a very stiff binding over.
Have you anything to add, Mr. Hearthrug?
Stoke, my lord, and no.
Oh.
Did he achieve very much by that statement to the press?
Yes, he did. He managed to dig himself into a hole that became just a tiny bit deeper. Have you seen the Standard?
No.
Claude Erskine Brown had escaped from the clutches of his newborn twins, Tristan and Isolde, and was catching up on the gossip in Pomeroy's wine bar.
Bathtub judge says it again. Putting her husband at the tap end may be a factor to excuse the attempted murder of a wife.
Did Guthrie really say that, Rumpole?
He did, Erskine Brown, he really did.
Well then, he deserves... He deserves... Oh, God, goodness me, I can't keep my eyes open.
The twins waking you up at night?
Oh, you have no idea what it's like, Rumpole.
Ah, you're forgetting I do have a son.
One! You have one child, Rumpole. And did you feed him when he was a baby? Did you wind him, change him, walk along Upper Street at 2 a.m, pushing a gigantic pram until he went back to sleep? And then did you do it all over again with the other child?
Actually, no.
No. You just let the little wife do all the work, didn't you?
I'd hardly call Hilda little.
Philida and I are splitting the parental duties right down the middle.
Well, bully for you.
When Philly goes back to Chambers, I'll spend more time at home looking after the twins.
Oh, Erskine Brown, don't be a fool.
Oh, you think it's women's work, bringing up babies?
I didn't say... No, I wouldn't say... That's unfair. But I do think that you will go insane if you're forced to stay at home far away from the company of your peers.
Oh, God. You're right. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Well, for starters, order another bottle of Chateau Thames Embankment. Then we'll concentrate on the Timpson case. Take your mind off nappies and nipples.
Yes. Good idea. You know, they've been asking Sam Ballard about Guthrie.
Who's been asking Ballard?
Keith, what's his name, from the Lord Chancellor's office. Keith wanted to know what Sam thought about Guthrie.
What does Soapy Sam think about Guthrie?
Well, I heard, and it's just a rumour, that Sam said he was lacking in judgment.
A judge lacking in judgment? A bit of a drawback, surely.
I think we may be seeing a space on the High Court bench, in which case they might be looking for a replacement from the same chambers. Sam would go to the bench and there'd be a vacancy as head of Equity Court.
So you think Guthrie Featherstone should go? Not because you fancy being head of chambers, just because...
Because he comes out with such injudicious remarks. And Sam said he was exactly the same at Marlborough, always getting himself into trouble with his big mouth.
Really? Well, I happen to have a soft spot for Guthrie. And if there's anything...
Oh, my God, is that the time? Philly's going to kill me.
Erskine Brown shot out of there as if his life depended on making it home before bath time. But it was cold showers that were playing a part in Tony Timpson's nighttime ablutions. He looked as if he was missing his hot tub when I met him in Brixton Nick the next day.
I'm confused. Who's this Chrissy you're talking about?
Friend of April's. She used to be married to Sean Malloy. She's still a Malloy deep down. So I don't know why April hangs around with a silly cow.
Was it Chrissy who was hosting the party at the very start of this sordid affair?
I will remember, Mr. Rumpole. It was Chrissy what told me that Peanuts was definitely seeing April on the sly. And it was Chrissy told me Peanuts was going to meet up with April in the general store on the corner of Morrison Avenue last week. So that's where I went, to the shop on Morrison Avenue.
Which is where you were found unconscious, bleeding from a wound to the head. Is this account correct?
Yeah. I was spark out, Mr. Rumpole, and so was the girl behind the counter.
Which is why the police arrested you?
I never touched her.
Well, someone did. Someone smacked her round the head with a blunt instrument. Almost certainly the heavy cosh found nestling beneath your body, right next to the £5 notes taken from the shop's till.
It wasn't my cosh. I don't have a bloody cosh.
Bloody being the mot juste, Tony.
Hey?
The girl behind the counter, Miss Ruby Churchill, she remembered you entering the shop and then the lights went out. Quite literally.
Yeah, the lights went out for me and all. I heard someone come running through from the back and bang!
Bang?
I got thumped. That was the last thing I remember before I woke up in a police cell.
Ruby Churchill woke up in a hospital bed.
Yeah, she was lucky. All I got was a plaster and an aspirin.
And a charge of robbery with violence.
And so Mr. Justice Featherstone got a chance to redeem himself in the eyes of the Lord Chancellor, and women throughout the nation. Charlie Hearthrug and I discussed the case as we waited for battle to recommence in court number 3.
Timpson's for the high jump. Guthrie's not going to make the same mistake again.
Mr. Justice Featherstone is a wise and upright judge, even if his foot does get stuck in his mouth occasionally.
Just look at the jury. 8 strong women, 4 rather sad-looking men.
You can almost hear the sound of knitting needles and the sharpening of the guillotine's blade.
So you agree it's hopeless?
For my client, never.
And for poor old Guthrie?
Well, let's just wait and see, shall we? I guessed that the judge would use the trial to prove himself as a dedicated protector of the weaker, fairer sex, but I could not have foreseen the lack of subtlety with which he set about the task.
Members of the jury, even in these days, when we are constantly sickened by crimes of violence, this is a particularly horrible and distressing event. An attack with a dangerous weapon. Exhibit 1. This cosh upon a defenceless woman.
Did you say a woman, Mr. Hearthstone?
I'm afraid so, my lord.
This man, Timpson, attacked a woman?
That, my lord, is something the jury will have to decide.
Mr. Rumpole, I am fully aware of that. All I can say about this case is that, should the jury convict, I take an extremely serious view of any sort of attack on a woman.
If they were in a bath, it wouldn't matter.
I didn't hear that, Mr. Rumpole.
Not a laughing matter, my lord.
Well, of course it isn't. Please proceed, Mr. Hearthstroke.
It's actually half. Thank you, my lord. Members of the jury, Miss Ruby Churchill, the innocent victim, works in a small general stores near Anthony Timpson's home. Timpson coshed the unfortunate Miss Churchill, whose evidence you will hear. The accomplice escaped with most of the money from the till. Timpson, happily for justice, slipped and struck his head on the corner of the shelves. He was found in a half-stunned condition with the cosh and some of the money. When arrested by Detective Inspector Brush of the Metropolitan Police, Timpson said, "You got me this time, then." Members of the jury, you may think that a clear admission of guilt.
Looking at their faces, some of them obviously did. So it was up to me to change their minds.
Rumpole. Must you read at the table? Rumpole. Please, put the brief to one side. At least until you've finished your chop.
Oh. I'm sorry, but things didn't go well today.
Has it come to this?
What?
The only topic for conversation we can have is whatever case you're failing to defend.
I thought you wanted to be a barrister.
I do.
Signed up for a correspondence course?
Well, I'm still looking for something suitable.
But you don't want a free lesson in jurisprudence from a practitioner who studied law at Oxford University?
Where you scraped a 4th?
Do you want a tutorial or not?
Oh, very well, then. Tell me what happened in court.
Miss Ruby Churchill happened. She's the shop assistant struck down by an assailant.
By Tony Timpson?
No, Hilda. Timpson is my client.
So one assumes he's guilty?
One should assume nothing of the sort, especially if one is a member of the jury or his lordship, who seems to have forgotten the basic principles of criminal justice.
Did Guthrie criticise Ruby Churchill for sitting at the wrong end of the bar?
On the contrary, Guthrie went out of his way to protect Ruby from the perils of having to stand in the witness box. I'm sure we all admire the plucky way in which you're giving your evidence. I'm amazed I was allowed to ask any questions.
And what questions did you ask?
No, Hilda, I'm trying to teach you a lesson, so you tell me what questions I should have asked.
Did you see who hit you with the cosh? Was it my client?
No, Hilda, I asked if she knew about Timpson and the tap end.
What?
I asked if she'd heard that Tony was accused of trying to drown his wife April and had been bound over.
But how on earth can that be of any relevance?
That's what Hearthrug said. Luckily, Ruby remembered every detail of the case, seeing how Tony and April were both loyal customers.
But why tell a jury your client tried to kill his wife?
I wanted to know what Ruby thought about it.
And What did she think?
That Tony Timpson had got away with murder.
Not really what you wanted to hear.
Exactly what I wanted to hear, Hilda. I could then put it to Ruby that some avenging angel might wish to frame Tony by setting up a faked robbery.
Well, isn't that just speculation?
No harm in that, if it sows a few seeds of doubt in the minds of the jury.
And did it sow any seeds?
If it didn't, my cross-examination of the scientific officer certainly did.
Oh, you're not going to tell me about that witness as well? Before pudding?
Pudding can wait. The evidence of Dr. Sweeting cannot. Just my luck she was a woman.
Why shouldn't she be a woman?
I'm not objecting to her gender as such. It was just irritating that Guthrie interrupted several times when he thought I was being too gruff with the poor dear.
Were you being too gruff?
I merely pointed out a lack of clarity in her evidence. There were stains of blood from Timpson's blood group on a shelf near where he fell, so it was quite possible that he'd hit his head on the shelf as he toppled to the ground. The witness, a scientific officer who claims to know something about bloodstains, was assuming he slipped when running from the shop, fell and hit his head on the way down. But it wasn't clear if he was knocked unconscious before or after his head hit the shelf. It was my suggestion that someone cost Tony, who then fell and hit his head on the shelf as he collapsed to the floor. I think the jury saw it my way in the end. It was a pretty important point, and I think I made it pretty well.
Oh. Treacle tart.
The fact that Hilda found pudding more interesting than my defence was an indication she'd heard enough. And so I shared the next day's progress with a more appreciative audience in the shape of Claude Erskine Brown. You got me this time, then?
Who said that?
No one said that.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying the police said that Timpson said that, but he says he said something else.
Such as?
I suppose you think you got me this time, then.
Well, does it make a difference?
Of course it does. Think about it, Erskine Brown. Detective Inspector Brush wanted Timpson done for the attempted drowning of his wife. The judge let him off. Detective Inspector Brush turns up at the shop, finds Timpson lying in a pool of blood, and he sees a chance of fitting him up.
Fitting him up? A senior police officer?
Oh, don't be so naive. They're all bent as each other. Doesn't matter what rank they are.
Have you taken again the boys in blue?
Only the ones who perjure themselves, and Detective Inspector Brush did that all afternoon.
Oh, come now, Rumpole.
He's a friend of the Malloys, by which I mean he's probably paid a retainer by Peanuts and his brother Gregory.
That's a very serious allegation.
So is robbery with violence, but Timpson's never used a cosh in his life. Peanuts and Gregory Malloy, on the other hand, like nothing better than to whack innocent bystanders with lengths of lead piping or socks filled with billiard balls.
Balls?
Balls, Erskine Brown, much like the evidence given by Detective Inspector Brush. I can only hope the jury saw through the slimy
There you are, Claude. I should have guessed you'd be drinking.
Philly, my love, what are you doing here?
Are you the only one who's allowed to escape from the flat? Am I sentenced to 24-hour incarceration with two babies who refuse to sleep, who seem determined to scream whenever they're not being fed, who have brought me to the end of my tether?
It seems to me, young Portia, you could do with a drink.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Rumpole. I didn't see you there.
Well, why not push that pram alongside the table, then park yourself next to your husband? I'll fetch a bottle of something soothing. Chateau Thames Embankment, perhaps?
No, stay where you are, Rumpole. Oh. I'll do the honours. And Philly's not really drinking these days.
I'll have a gin and tonic.
Is that wise, darling?
A large one.
Oh, well, if you're quite sure.
So, is this one Tristan, or...?
That's Isolde. This is Tristan. Would you like to hold him?
Oh, no. I don't want to scare the poor boy. Complete stranger picking him up. Got quite a nose. I don't mean big. Distinguished. Strong jawline. Inquisitive eyes.
He looks like you, Mr. Rumpole. I think that's what you're saying.
No. Do you think he looks like me?
Claude can't see it. At least he's never said anything.
I'm sure it's pure coincidence.
Of course.
In a few years' time, he'll probably look completely different.
Well, I hope so.
Isolde, on the other hand, is the spitting image of you. Quite beautiful.
Mr. Rumpole.
Here we are. Another bottle of Plonk. And a large G&T. Now, drink it slowly, my darling. Don't let it go into your head.
That's exactly where I'd like it to go. Cheers, Mr. Rumpole.
Oh, yes, cheers.
It really is quite exhausting.
What is drinking?
No, bringing up babies. I'm sorry?
How can you possibly find it exhausting when you pretend not to hear them during the night and pretend to be working during the day?
I am working. Someone has to earn some money.
Fair point, young Portia. You can't expect Erskine Brown here to stay at home all day.
But it's fine for me to give up my career.
You're not giving it up forever, I hope. Just a year or two.
I bet you didn't miss a day's work when your own son was born.
I was in the middle of a complicated fraud.
So Hilda coped all by herself?
She seemed to be doing just fine without me.
And she stayed at home with the baby, and you carried on as if nothing had happened.
It's just the way of the world.
Well, it shouldn't be. And frankly, Mr. Rumpole, I'm disappointed with your attitude.
Well, I'd best be off.
Don't want to keep the little lady waiting. Don't want to find the meal she's cooked for you burning in the oven.
I always do the washing up.
Oh, bravo, Mr. Rumpole, bravo!
With her sarcastic applause ringing in my ears, I hurried home to the little lady to see if indeed the lamb chops and mashed potato were burning in the oven. Just for once, however, they'd survived Hilda's attempts to cremate them.
How was Nicholas today?
What do you mean? How was he?
Did he have a nice time doing whatever it is he does all day? What does he do all day?
He goes to kindergarten.
Oh, really? Where?
The place we inspected last year. The place you agreed was adequate and not too expensive. Stanhope Gardens? Ring any bells?
Do you think I don't take enough interest in our son?
You take no interest in our son.
I would do if I weren't quite so busy. And you enjoy it, don't you? The looking after business? I mean, you don't want to swap our roles. Not that it's practical or desirable, but...
I am prepared to carry out my domestic chores for now, Rumpole, but when I'm called to the bar, we shall have to rethink our arrangements. Someone else will have to look after Nicholas when I'm working down the Bailey.
Surely Nicholas will be a grown-up man by then, possibly retired.
It won't take me that long to qualify as a barrister. Just because I'm a woman, you seem to think I'm stupid.
How dare you? I regard women, some women, as equally intelligent as men. I love women.
A little too much, in certain cases.
Not the Liz Probert nonsense. How many times must I tell you? I have no romantic feelings for that girl.
Good, because she's the sort who'll get you into trouble.
What sort is that, Hilda?
She's cut from the same cloth as Timpson's wife. I've been reading your brief in more detail than you, I suspect, and it's obvious to me who holds the key to this whole sordid affair.
Well, who?
Mrs. April Timpson herself. You've been looking for some kind of conspiracy within the ranks of the police force. Are they being paid by the Malloys? Are they rotten apples to the core? But it's obviously much simpler than that. Oh, beware, my lord of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on. That cuckold lives in bliss who, certain of his fate, loves not his wronger.
Was Hilda right? Was this a crime of passion? Only the cuckold in Brixton Nick could help me.
I didn't mention it because I didn't think it was important.
Oh, Tony. You must tell me everything. You may not think it relevant, but you must inform me of even the smallest event concerning the dramatis personae.
Do what?
Tell me what happened with your wife and Peanuts.
It wasn't her and Peanuts, it was Chrissy and Peanuts. They was coming out the shop.
The shop on the corner of Morrison Avenue?
Yeah. It's the only shop we ever used, to be honest.
I'm not sure you'll be welcome there in the future, but continue.
Well, a few weeks ago, Chrissy and Peanuts was coming out the shop and April saw them.
That's it?
No. They was kissing.
As they walked out of the shop?
On the pavement.
Was it a passionate embrace? A zealous kiss as sealed to the indenture of their love?
Dunno. But April didn't like it. She told me she was very upset.
And jealous?
Yeah. She thought Peanuts only had eyes for her.
Which is what led to the incident in the bathroom.
Oh, don't bring that up, Mr. Rumpole. I'm trying to put that tap-end business behind me.
I'm sure you are, Tony. But I fear I'm going to turn to the tap end first thing in the morning. And first thing in the morning, I raised the bath time dunking with the victim herself. Mrs. April Timpson, some time ago you had a quarrel with your husband in a bathtub. What was that quarrel about?
Peanuts Malloy.
About a man called Peter Peanuts Malloy. What did you tell your husband about Peanuts?
Well, about him as a man, like.
Did you compare the virility of these two gentlemen?
Yeah, I did.
And who got the better of the comparison?
Peanuts.
Was there then a scuffle in your bath?
Yeah?
Did your husband ever try to drown you?
No, he never.
Why did you suggest that he did?
My lord, I object. What possible relevance can this have?
Why did you suggest he tried to murder you?
I was angry with him.
Do I understand you made an entirely false accusation against your husband?
Yes, your lordship.
Do you not realise, madam, the suffering that accusation has brought to innocent people?
Such as you, old cock.
What was that, Mr. Rumpole?
Such as the man in the dock, my lord.
And other innocent people.
Quite so, my lord. Now, Mrs. Timpson, after your husband's trial, did you continue to see Mr. Peanuts Malloy?
We went out together, yeah.
Where did you meet?
We met round the shop at the corner of Morrison Avenue. Then we went out in his car.
Did you meet him in that shop on the night this robbery took place?
No, I never.
Your husband says that your friend Chrissy came round and told him that you and Peanuts Malloy were going to meet at the shop at 5:30 that evening. So he went up there to put a stop to your affair.
Well, Chrissy, who's no longer my friend, by the way, she were well in with Peanuts by then, won't she? I reckon Peanuts sent Chrissy to tell Tony.
You think Peanuts sent Chrissy?
Pretty obvious, innit?
Please explain it to the court.
Well, Peanuts wanted to put Tony in the frame, make it look like Tony coshed Ruby in the shop. Peanuts was desperate to fit Tony up.
Had Peanuts said anything to you to make you think he might do such a thing?
Oh, yeah. After the first trial, the bath time tap-end thing, Peanuts said he reckoned Tony needed a bit of justice. He said he were going to see he got put inside. Course, Peanuts didn't mind making a bit himself out of robbing the shop.
Thank you, Mrs. Timpson. One more thing, Mrs. Timpson. Have you ever seen a weapon like this before? I held up the cosh.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times.
Where did you see it?
In Peanuts' car. Kept it under the driver's seat.
Thank you, Mrs. Timpson. Thank you very much. The evidence was complete. Hearthrug and I made our speeches, and it was left to Guthrie Featherstone to sum up the case of R.V. Timpson.
Members of the jury, you have heard of the false accusation of attempted murder that Mrs. Timpson made against an innocent man. Can you imagine what misery that poor man has been made to suffer? Devoted to ladies as he may be, he has been thought to connive at crimes of violence. Perhaps it was even suggested that he was the sort of fellow who would make his wife carry heavy luggage. Goodness. He may well have been shunned in the streets, hooted at from the pavements, and the wife he truly loves has perhaps been unwilling to enter a warm domestic bath with him. And then consider if the unhappy Timpson may not have also been falsely accused in relation to the robbery from his local general stores. Justice must be done, members of the jury. Justice must be done.
Off the hook, old cock, off the hook.
Justice was indeed done. And when I got home, Hilda was reading the result of the trial in the Evening Standard.
I suppose you're cock-a-hoop, Rumpole.
Hearthrug routed, I should cocoa.
And was I right about the green-eyed monster?
Well, yes.
It was a crime of passion.
Well, no, or rather, yes and no.
You're not making sense, Rumpole.
Well, bear with me, Hilda. The summing up by his lordship was confused and confusing. Well, perhaps I can offer a simple précis.
I very much doubt it.
Well, there was indeed jealousy involved. Tony Timpson was jealous of his wife's attraction towards Peanuts Malloy. But then April Timpson became jealous of Peanuts' attraction towards her good friend Chrissy, who's no longer her friend. It was that jealousy which moved April to give evidence in court.
She testified against her own husband.
No, Hilda, she helped her own husband by recounting Peanut's desire to put Tony in prison for a crime he didn't commit.
Trying to drown his wife?
No, Hilda, she admits now that Tony never tried to drown her. I'm talking about the violent robbery of the shop on Morrison Avenue.
That wasn't Tony Timpson.
No, Hilda, it was Peanuts Malloy, and he tried to frame Tony, but by provoking April with his feelings for Chrissy, Peanuts failed to fit up Tony and now faces the wrath of Detective Inspector Brush. Clear?
No, Rumpole. Not clear at all.
Very well. Why don't we go through the main points of my cross-examination as we enjoy the gin and tonic, and, for me, Chateau Fleet Street?
Nothing for me, and no more of your tutorials.
How do you expect to be called to the bar if you won't be taught any law?
I don't want to be called to the bar.
Hilda, no!
I can't represent people such as April Timpson, making it up about being drowned in the bath.
When lovely woman stoops to folly and finds too late that men betray, what charm can soothe her melancholy? What art can wash her guilt away?
She gives women everywhere a bad name. I refuse to study the law for years just so tramps and harlots can make up stories to hide their sordid affairs. I have better things to do with my time.
Of course you have. What sort of better things?
It's disgusting.
I'm sorry?
People having baths together.
Married people?
I don't see that makes it any more acceptable. Don't you ever ask to do that kind of thing with me, Rumpole.
Never, Hilda. I promise faithfully. To hear, of course, was to obey.
In Rumpole and the Tap End by John Mortimer, Horace Rumpole was Benedict Cumberbatch, Hilda Rumpole, Jasmine Hyde, Claude Erskine Brown, Nigel Anthony, Tony Timpson was Stephen Critchlow, Guthrie Featherston, Julian Rhine-Tutt, Charles Hearthstoke, David Shaw Parker, and Phillida Erskine Brown, Kathy Sarah. Other parts were played by members of the company. Rumpole and the Tap End was adapted by Richard Stoneman, directed by Marilyn Imrie, and is a Catherine Bailey production for BBC Radio 4.